Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, I realized I made a mistake yesterday, and you might have picked it up. I am a guy that makes mistakes. Yesterday, and we're going through numbers in case you didn't know. And yesterday I talked about the first census. In that episode, you heard me say there was 12 tribes, and you have Joseph, and of those two tribes, it was separated out into Ephraim and Manasseh. So I said, if you have Ephraim and Manasseh follow under Joseph, you have these 12 tribes, and those 12 tribes, you would have. I said you had, 603,000. So you'd have roughly 50,000 per fighting men per tribe. Okay, but if you were paying attention yesterday, I read through all the tribes. I didn't read through the tribe of Levi. Okay, again, we're going to read this today, and you're going to find out Levi. If you were a part of the tribe of Levi, you weren't called to fight. You were set apart to take care of the ministry, God's work. Okay, so the error I made yesterday was saying I was including the tribe of Levi in those numbers. Levi is not included in those numbers at all. Okay, it's just because they're set apart. So we're going to read this today. We're actually concluding chapter 2 today. Some of these sections in here in the book of Numbers, we're going to move through pretty quick because there's a lot of information, not a lot of application to us. But like the whole census, that was a long section there. So it was like a long episode yesterday. Hopefully today it should be shorter. All right, so let's read here. This is taken from Numbers chapter 1, verses 47 to 54. It says this: the ancestral tribe of the Levites, however, was not counted along with the others. Okay, that's the mistake I made yesterday. I was just like throwing Levi in there. They weren't counted. There's no record of the guys being counted for Levi. Instead, appointing the Levites to be in charge of the tabernacle of the covenant law over all its furnishings and everything belonging to it. They are to carry the tabernacle and all its furnishings. They are to take care of it and encamp around it. Okay? Not only take care of it, but you're to camp around it. So if any bad guys come and want to do something to the tabernacle, you got to go through a whole bunch of Levites that are living around that tabernacle. This is verse 51. Whenever the tabernacle is to move, the Levites are to take it down, and whenever the tabernacle is to be set up, the Levites shall do it. Anyone else who approaches it is to be put to death. Okay? So you might have a guy from the tribe of Benjamin, and he goes, yeah, you know what? I think God's called me to move the tabernacle. It says right here, if someone else approaches it, they're to be put to death. So this Benjamite comes and says, well, God has called me to move this tabernacle. Well, he's to be put to death because God's not saying that at all. God is saying, clearly, the Levites are the only ones to take care of this tabernacle. The Israelites are to set up their tents by divisions, each of them in their own camp under their own standard. The Levites, however, are to set up their tents around the tabernacle of the covenant law, so that my wrath will not fall on the Israelite community. The Levites are to be responsible for the care of the tabernacle of the covenant law. The Israelites did all this just as the Lord commanded Moses. Okay? So, what I want you to see from this is the Levites were set apart. They were set apart for ministry. They weren't counted with in the census because they were separate. They weren't fighting. Okay, so there's no need to include them in the military. They were just set apart for ministry. So you might have been called by God to be set apart for ministry, and so that has different restrictions placed upon you and expectations also. Okay, so for the Levites, for example, there were certain clothes they were to wear, things they were supposed to do and not supposed to do. Okay, because they were set apart for ministry. They weren't supposed to go out and go join the army and go about killing a bunch of people. They were called to do this, and so you if you're called into ministry, there's going to be requirements placed upon you and expectations placed upon you that sets you apart from everybody else just doing the average everyday work. Okay. And you can also expect that if you're not called to ministry, you'll see someone else that's called to ministry, and they have different expectations placed upon them, and requirements for that. So there's different. I won't get into all that stuff today, but you look around and you'll see those that are called into ministry, the ways they should be different than just the normal Joe Blow. All right. Hey, thank you for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through Numbers. We're actually starting chapter 2 tomorrow. Lord's blessing. I'll see you tomorrow.